So we are going to hear about a strategy, how municipalities and local governments can capture economic and environmental benefits in an integrated system. So I would like to welcome two speakers now. We get two for the price of one this time. We have Barbara Jackson, CEO, Race for the Baltic Foundation. And we have Fredrik Lind, Senior Partner and Managing Director at the Boston Consulting Group. The floor is yours, please.
Thank you. Thank you.
So from short to short divided by 2, 5 minutes each. My name is Fredrik Lind, and my role having me here today is that I lead our Nordic social impact practice within BCG, and one of our top priorities for the last 5 years have been the Baltic Sea. What we will cover together is our view on the Baltic Sea and global waters. Is that on the left-hand side, we've been working with WWF now for many, many years, doing work in the Baltic Sea and also globally. We think that it's important to put economic value on the resources of the oceans. We've been stressing innovation, and we've been stressing the need for more global and more state-level aggressive policy recommendations and changes given the situation the Baltic Sea is under. The other thing we noticed when Niklas Sandström's team and Barbara reached out 3 years ago was that the municipalities are very, very important. So that is what we're going to talk today about, and Barbara will cover the Race for the Baltics in a minute. Before we talk about municipalities, one example of the work we have done with WWF is that if you put economic value on all the oceans in the world, you are creating the 7th largest country in the world, just behind UK in GDP comparable economic value measurements. And that calls for a lot of global recommendations, and that's why it's important to also think about what is the value of ocean. And one benefit from that is that even if you engage with people that don't have a big heart for water, for the environment, it makes economic sense, medium term and long term, to make investments and actually address a lot of these issues. If we go to the municipalities, we roughly have 1,500 that are being connected directly or indirectly to the Baltic Sea. In our study with the Sandström team, we asked and did a survey with the municipalities to understand how equipped are they to work on water issues. And it was quite disappointing to note that 25% of these 1,500 municipalities were not really aware of the situation that the Baltic Sea is under. Alarmingly, number 2, 45% of these 1,500 municipalities don't have enough resources, enough staff, enough capacity, we called it unarmed, to work on eutrophication water issues. And then we had 30% doing a lot of good stuff called here executors, and roughly 15 of these 1,500 municipalities we call leaders. They had a good strategy, well-resourced, working together, also collaborating with other cities and municipalities around the Baltic Sea. So one of the findings for Barbara's team is, of course, what can we do to help municipalities becoming more executors and more leaders? And that should be an important next step for the Baltic Sea. In our work, we think that economic benefits are important to stress, so we don't only come with these negative, gloomy pictures around how bad things are. Tourism is an obvious example, but there are many more. We can talk about new sustainable businesses being created. We heard about the blue strategies and technology innovation being discussed. Attractive communities, flood control, biodiversity, populations' well-being. There is a positive story to be told at the municipality level and the broader society. My last page. We tried to break down what kind of economic value can an average municipality get from driving a water agenda that improves the situation dramatically. And then we're talking about primarily tourism, a little bit water technology, real estate, but also supporting industry, all the extra jobs being created when you have tourists coming into many parts of the Baltic Sea. That leads to an average GDP impact for the average municipality at 270 million euros. And this translates into 900,000 jobs that are at stake if we take care of the Baltic Sea and can get a well-being Baltic Sea back on track. And to hand over to Barbara, we created on the right-hand side a little bit of a playbook, a handbook. What can municipalities do if they want to work and become a leader or being really good? There is a need to work on strategy. There is a need to work on engaging local stakeholders, cooperate across municipalities. Very little happens between a sample of very few municipalities. And then get help on resources and funding. I think we heard today a lot of good examples on how municipalities can get access to knowledge, financing, support if they know how to do it and how they can resource their teams. So, Barbara, Race for the Baltics, what is that?
Thank you. Thank you so much, Fredrik. I am so excited to be here today, and it's such an honor. And Fredrik, I just was thinking that you took the day off of work to be here. This isn't your main job, saving the Baltic Sea from Boston Consulting Group, and I think that shows a lot as well. So thank you very much, and also to Göran and Marmar and Karin for organizing this and bringing everyone here together. As we heard this morning, we are the early adapters, and that's why I feel really inspired to be here together with you. My name is Barbara Jackson, and I'm the CEO of Race for the Baltic, and I'm here today with my team, who you might have met already earlier this morning. And this foundation was started by Nicholas Sennström, who you may know as the co-founder of Skype, a very passionate person, a very action-oriented person who wants to see things happen now and quickly. In some ways, I found myself to be the least likely candidate maybe to run this initiative, given that I wasn't born in this region. But what I came in with was a new set of eyes to a challenge and also a strong passion for water. And in 2013, we started a campaign called Race for the Baltic. So we actually cycled around the Baltic Sea. I saw Julia here from Lithuania and lots of our old friends. So we basically had connected about 100 organizations in the 9 countries to raise awareness about this issue. And during that time, we also held policy roundtables, business roundtables, and met a lot of the actors. And what was clear was really one thing, and that was that the economic benefits were not clearly understood or clearly spoken about back in 2013. Looking at the Baltic Sea, it was really seen as a cost, not an investment opportunity. And that's around the time that I took contact with Boston Consulting Group, who had already started their journey with WWF, and said, look, we've met with over 50 municipalities during this year, and there's interest to engage in this issue, but there's not really strong incentive because it's seen as a cost. It's going to be too expensive. There's not enough resources. I don't know how many times I heard that. And as an optimist, I thought, we have to find a way to make this work. So we have to find that there are benefits, and they have to be seen as economic benefits. So that's a bit of the background, calling Fredrik and saying, let's go to action. And he put his team on it to look at those economic benefits. We developed this report, and looking at the innovations, the technology side, the tourism side, seeing that Öland lost 27 million euros in their revenue during algae blooms. So we know that there's cancellations of hotels when there's algae blooms, and also the future missed opportunities or risk. And so basically, through this report, we put together something called the Baltic Sea City Accelerator. And the City Accelerator is an acceleration process for municipalities in all the 9 countries, or even we could even expand to Belarus and others, to come together on an innovation journey to co-create solutions and go to action now, looking at the economic benefits. So we started the City Accelerator about 1 year ago, and really exciting. We have some of our municipalities here today that decided to step out and be pioneers and test this out. So we have Vamdö, Vaxholm, Västervik, the entire Kalmarsunds region, Kalmarsunds, Kommun, Słupsk in Poland, Panevėžys in Lithuania. I see Dalia over there. that's actually over 100 kilometers from the Baltic Sea, and Mariehamn. So these cities have stepped up to pioneer this program, and together with an innovation community, we have Nordic Investment Bank, who I saw here today, European Investment Bank. We also have Ramboll, General Electric, Stockholm Environmental Institute, and others, Siwi, who have come together to really support the cities to come up with strategic plans and set their vision of how they're going to restore the Baltic Sea. What are those investments that they need to take, and what are those benefits, and how can we help them go to action? And that's what we've been doing for 12 months now in this process of moving from challenge to opportunity. So cities are coming with their ideas. We're connecting them with the innovation community. We're accelerating as best as we can, learning along the way and adopting these. And the goal here is really to showcase what we've learned to other municipalities. And we know that 12 municipalities that are piloting now might not be enough to make the full change, but we need to pilot and start somewhere. At the end of this program, in June, the municipalities will have a chance to present their Blue Strategy, which is essentially a strategic plan of how the city will capture the economic benefits of investing in the Baltic Sea. And within this plan, they will have a concrete investment plan, an action plan of how to go forward. And some of the municipalities have already started on those. And what I can say so far, we're analyzing this process as we go along to see, is this a way that we can make change? Is this, are we going in the right direction? We're learning lots of things along the way. But the successes that we've seen so far that I find really interesting is just the cross-pollination of ideas. Panavesis had come with a flooding problem, and I remember they sat down with Jacob Granit at our first Idea Lab in December when you were at SEI still, and you mentioned green infrastructure and starting to talk, how can we use green infrastructure around flooding, and starting those conversations that maybe hadn't been discussed before. So we're seeing this and then moving to action, and now we know we're also creating new blue markets. We see that we're increasing the demand for these technologies as the municipalities are meeting the companies. There's a deeper understanding of the economic benefits. But also, what I find very interesting is we're identifying the roadblocks and also the bottlenecks. What is it? Where are the municipalities kind of stopping along the way, and how can we go in and everyone in this room to help them to overcome those bottlenecks? So this is really the part of the innovation journey. So what I want to conclude with is that we can't do this alone. As we've talked about before, we need to work together, as we've heard all day today. I think I don't know how many times we've heard that. And what we're trying to create within the City Accelerator, within Race for the Baltic, together with our partners, is an approach towards collective impact. Together as a region, we're setting our vision and strategic actions and bringing municipalities together in this framework. And working for someone like Nicholas Sennström and our amazing team, we've thought, you know, go big or go home. And so the goal is really to move up to bring 100 municipalities together in collective action by 2020, sharing a similar goal and sharing actions and sharing best practices, using digital platforms to keep data in real time, sharing and progressing at the same time. And I really want to be open an invitation to everyone today that's not already a part of the journey to come up to us and speak to us and see how we can work together. We don't have the answers. I don't know if anybody really does, but together I think that we can create this global brain and move forward. So thank you again to Marmar and the great team today and everybody for your hard work. It's been an honor to be here. Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot. And I think actually this takes us well into the parallel sessions because what you're focusing on right now are solutions, of course. And so we should not just talk about it, we should also do it. And by connecting municipalities with an entrepreneur, things can happen.
Absolutely.
Is that a short?
Absolutely.
Oh, that's the,
You've got it. I said the right thing.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.